did we just uncover proof that Team Blake Lively was actually smearing Justin Baldoni even before the premiere of the movie? Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and I'm so grateful for Nadia G. Reads on TikTok. Nadia, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I want to fill people in on what you're doing here and why we're here. You were so gracious enough to do our documentary, It Ends with Justice. Thank you. Had a fantastic interview with Nadia, which, guys, make sure you sign up to the website. Go to itendswithjustice.com. You can click the little sign up there to get part of the site. All monetization we get from the shirts, merch, everything, signups is all going towards the production, as well as now legal fees with the subpoena. But while we were I was interviewing Nadia, I learned that you actually had some evidence, some screenshots even of text messages you were getting way back before the premiere as you were calling out Blake Lively's bad PR. Now, the reason this stood out for me, this was kind of shocking, and we're absolutely going to make this part of the doc, and I was going to sort of save it, but I was like, I don't really want to save it. There's so much important stuff out there. I want to make sure everybody knows what happened here. So that way, if anybody else got messages like this, please reach out to me, share them with me privately, whatever you want to do, because this just feels super shady. Now, before we go to you now to explain, I just want to, here's where it sort of started. You had a couple TikToks, innocent TikToks, very neutral, in my perspective. I watched them all again, just calling out, well, there's some weird drama, and you literally call, he's an unproblematic king, she's an unproblematic queen. You were team everybody, maybe a little shade at Colleen Hoover, because I guess you didn't love parts of the book, but, all very neutral and sort of you're very well spoken the way you did it. And then as you sort of got into it further, you called out the PR marketing, which a lot of people did. The fact that Justin was in the background and now it's all fun and fluffy, as you're saying here, and it's not raising awareness to the heart of the film. A very valid thing that a lot of people were noticing. And you were one of the earliest TikToks that I can see too that was sort of calling this out. Now, you netted almost 4 million views off this TikTok, correct?
Yeah, a little over that, I think.
Yeah, and so as I go through and we're scrolling through, so the TikToks, it definitely blew up. And you didn't lean in and start making your channel and It Ends With Us trauma channel. You did do some follow-ups, but as this is it. She did about 6 or so TikToks on the topic as they were exploding, as everybody was. And what's interesting is because it exploded, can you set this up before we go to the screenshot? You started getting messages from people asking you to pull the video, correct?
I did, yeah. Yeah, I got a message, it was prior to opening weekend, basically telling me that these things were going to come out about Blake Lively, that she was going to be a victim and that all the women on the set were actually victims, and that the last thing I would want to do would be to speak negatively on a victim, so that I should take my video down, and basically that allegations were going to come out against Justin Baldoni.
Now, we've blurred out who sent this. I'm not trying to get that, but with your permission, can I show this screenshot?
Yep.
So she shared with me sort of what was said, just because and I'm grateful you did, because I think now that everything's come out, I think all this should come out. This is the timing of this on August 8th. Hey there, you don't know me, and please never post this anywhere. Oh well. But for your own awareness, I just thought I'd message you. A lot happened on set that will eventually come out. But if I were you, I'd take those videos down. I can promise you wholeheartedly that the female cast members are victims. That's all I can say. But to put any negative press on people going through it is just probably the last thing they need. Again, obviously, you had zero idea, but just wanted to give you a heads up. It will come out in their own time, but Blake is as sweet and innocent as ever, and you are correct that her husband absolutely is there to protect her. Now, what was your reaction when you got this at first? I imagine part of you was a little concerned.
Yeah, I definitely absolutely was concerned, especially as my stake in this is... obviously, I was a book talker and read the book and was following the movie, but I'm also, in my own personal life, an advocate for intimate partner violence. So she's correct. The last thing that I would want to do would be add stress on a victim or a survivor. However, the things that I had been talking about to do with the film were the marketing. And that had nothing to do with whatever happened behind the scenes, whatever happened between Blake and Justin. That didn't change the inappropriate way that the film was marketed to me. So I waited and saw what was going to happen, but I didn't stop speaking on what I was speaking about.
Now, I don't want to speak for you, but I had the luxury of speaking to you prior for a little bit of time, and I'm grateful for the time. correct me if I'm wrong, you're not really trying to pick a team in this. You were a fan of Blake. You were a fan of Justin. You were excited for the casting. And it sounds like you're just more annoyed that all this is distracted from what's important, the theme of the book and the movie, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You're not an anti-Blake content creator or part of any retaliation campaign?
No. I had people ask me if I was paid to speak positively on Justin or negatively on Blake. That's the thing too with the whole smear campaign. I don't know if anybody made a video about the marketing before I did. I know that kind of started after mine blew up. Nobody ever reached out to me. Nobody ever paid me. Nobody ever asked me to do that. Nobody put that opinion in my head. I saw the marketing when I was looking into, what's going on with them. I saw the marketing, went, and made that video. That's what happened.
Right. And as someone who watched your videos, you weren't being mean towards Blake. I mean, you were calling out the tone deaf approach, which I think is valid. And I'm looking at it objectively, which I know you're not trying to get in the middle or pick any sides. It's frustrating. It was interesting because we also spoke about the fact that maybe there was some big idea of like, look, let's not make this movie about DV because maybe we'll get more people in the theaters that way. And then they might see that type of relationship on screen. And then actually we got to them in a clever way, secret way. But as smart as that might have been, that's not what Blake was doing either, was it?
I don't think it was. No, that doesn't seem like it.
I mean, and the reason I agree with you is it's like she's promoting her brands. Like whether Sony or anybody was forcing this marketing campaign on her, don't talk about DV, fine. But talking about her brands, I mean, I can see upset you. Why is that so inappropriate?
Well, it felt exploitative, right? You're portraying a survivor of domestic violence. And again, the heart of this film is, literally the namesake, it ends with us as speaking about ending the cycle of abuse, a generational cycle. So you're portraying real people's real stories. And in doing so, rather than using your platform and the platform of this film to raise awareness and speak on the topic, it feels exploitative to these stories to use that to garner money on your personal brands. Mind you, one of these brands is a hair care company. One of them is an alcohol company. We know the ways that alcohol mixes with domestic abuse and intimate partner violence. There is also, this might be nitpicky and a bit sensitive. However, there is a scene where her hair is being pulled in the book. I don't believe that was in the film, but in the book, I remember that pretty vividly. So, and just the nature of intimate partner violence survivors in general, to glamorize it and, grab your girls, wear your florals. It felt very inappropriate and off tone.
Right, and that's why I was so grateful to find you and speak to you because again, you're not trying to pile on her, you're not trying to be hateful to her. You're pointing out something very valid, and I guess I asked you as someone who's very been intelligent and fair about it. Do you believe that there was a retaliation campaign when so many of us were not at all involved or paid by Justin to call this out? It frustrates me because they're still subpoenaing us for our data, like 16 more creators, all subpoenaed to try and prove that we're paid by. And it's like, I got nothing to hide, but it's also like, how dare they to an extent? But is it starting to frustrate you? I know you stayed out of it, but seeing how far she's going to avoid just admitting that she kind of messed up and was a little tone deaf during the marketing. Do you think had she done that, all of this would have gone away?
I absolutely do. Whether there was a retaliation campaign or not, if there was, they would have been able to wipe their hands and they wouldn't have had to do much. I wholeheartedly believe that the criticism over the way that she handled the film specifically was organic and valid. So to call it a smear, to call it retaliation is to invalidate these very valid criticisms, right? So that's what's frustrating. I do believe that if, at least from where I stand, if this had have been a call-in, right, which it was at the beginning, and you had have heard that, said, oh, I made a mistake, took accountability, this was prior to opening weekend. There was still time during the actual rollout and marketing of this film to have changed that approach, and that didn't happen.
Right, and I look at these text messages, August 8th, continue. So you followed up. Unfortunately, yes, something is going to come out against Justin, and tragically, it isn't only from Blake, which hasn't actually come to fruition yet. No. Everyone else has stayed pretty quiet. Now,
Yeah.
granted, they may be afraid given how everyone's reacted, but still, you'd think at this point they would have stood tall with Blake when everyone was on her side to really definitively set the tone, set the tone and the facts. But they seem to be avoiding it like the plague now, which makes me wonder: is that true, or was Blake sort of getting these women to sort of agree with her due to her own power imbalance? You asked where it's come from, and it's a standard. Oh, my family's in the industry. Blah 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 blah. Take it as a grain of salt, but it all feels very manipulative, and it feels exactly like the things they're accusing Justin of. When I see this, that's why it was so shocking to me, because they're claiming, oh, he's playing dirty. But here we are on August 8th before any of it's going down. I mean, honestly, I ask you, no wonder he hired a PR crisis person, right? If this is the kind of stuff that was out there and the things that are bubbling over, and they're going to start putting some stuff that he disagrees with, whether it happened or not, he's going to disagree. They clearly disagreed throughout the film. Do you believe he had the right to hire a team to try to combat the PR and clearly go against the secret tactics that Blake was clearly going to do and able to afford?
Well, I mean, like I said to you the last time that we spoke, I can't speak at all to whether or not her allegations of what happened on set are true. I don't want to, especially if they are. I wasn't there. I don't know that. However, when it comes to smear campaign and retaliation being the criticism that she received online, that is what I wholeheartedly believe is organic. If that's what we're speaking about, yeah, I'm sure, I would have hired a PR team too. Like if I didn't start that and this was organic and this was people's genuine valid criticism, that's not me doing anything wrong. That's not me coming at you. This is valid criticisms of a mistake that you made and that you're doubling down on, essentially, right? I mean, there's multiple aspects to the lawsuits that are happening now. There's what's happened on set. There's the smear campaign and the online criticism that she received, which is separate than what happened on set. And then there's all of the rollout that's happened since.
Yeah. Yeah, no, look, but it's just shocking to me because as you look at your TikTok and it's 4 million views, it's going viral, it's taking off, to ask someone like that to take it down based on sort of this hearsay of, hey, FYI, he's a bad person.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. That is a smoking gun. And I wanted to share this earlier and not just save it for the doc, because if you guys out there, if anybody else has had sort of interactions like this or anything else that that never sat with me right, please reach out. Now is the time before all the subpoenas dry up and they can't do more discoveries. I implore you, speak up. You can reach out to us anonymously. We will keep you obviously off the record if that's what you choose. But getting this data helps so much. So I appreciate you, Nadia, for opening up and sharing it. And thank you for being part of the documentary, guys. If you want to support, we got lots more coming in the documentary. So go over to itendswithjustice.com, or you can go to PopcornedPlanet.com. Just click sign up at the top. All paid members will get first access to the doc. And as well, there's lots more other fun stuff. You can go there. Also, you can go to the Give, Send, Go to support our legal funds and documentary production costs. It's getting a lot more given what we're up against. Like, I can't lie. So I'm so grateful to all you guys that have stepped up to help us get across the line. But Nadia, thank you so much for helping. I'm glad we get this out there. What do you guys think? Are you guys surprised? I want to hear your thoughts down below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for alerts, and the thumbs up. Are you surprised to see that there were people seemingly on Blake's side? I don't want to say it was officially her side, but it sure seems like somebody who was Team Blake was out there trying to stop big TikToks from posting negative things about her. And it wasn't even like they were saying Justin's good and Blake's bad. It was literally about her own actions promoting her brands. Not even just following the marketing campaign. It was following her brands. Sony didn't make her promote her brands. There's no way Sony made her do that. That was her choice. So are you surprised? Let us know in the comments down below. Thank you, Nadia. Check her out at Nadia G Reads on TikTok. And stay tuned. We got a lot more coming your way here on Popcorn Planet.